with $15,030.60. And coming in number one this week is Lee Reyes, $15,220.56. Awesome job, y'all. All right, good. Carolina. So let's get this call started off right and help me welcome our president and CEO, Mr. Andy Albrecht.
Thank you, Chelsea. It's hard to argue with numbers like that. Like, in other words, you can tell me that she ain't good as you, or he ain't good as you, or you ain't good as them, but when you post the numbers, they seem to be pretty factual. Wouldn't it be great if all of life was like that? It was just black and white and it was numbers and there were no emotions involved. You just is what it is, right? I like people that say it is what it is when they're really, really mad. Can you see the contradiction in that statement? You with me?
Yeah.
It's just something don't make sense about that. It is what it is, damn it. Like, but if you wasn't mad, it wouldn't be what it is. It would be differently. Emotions. I promised simple, clear, concise plan to move your profitability up now. Okay. Here's a simple, clear, simple, concise plan. Get a check when you're out in the house. Get referrals when you're out in the house. Get the green sheet figured out when you're out in the house. And recruit when you're out in the house. There you go.
Bam.
Bam. There it is. You said you wanted to just be simple and black and white. There it is. You need to be ranked a 10 on each one of these subjects with me grilling you. Like if I said to you, how many houses have you been in and didn't get a check? How many houses have you been in that you didn't get a referral? How many houses have you been in that you didn't get 15 referrals in every one? Have you called all the referrals? Did you book appointments? Have you studied it? Are you good at it? Do you rank yourself a 10? Get it? When you're in a house, are you checking about recruiting? Are you talking to them about the business? Are you checking about nieces, nephews, uncles, aunts, neighbors, bosses, employees? How good are you? Where are you going to rank yourself? I can ask you a bunch more questions. We're getting a green sheet. I promise you, in 3 houses out of 10, there's a 6-figure amount of money piled up in a ball somewhere. You getting 3 out of 10, finding 6 figures? If you ain't, what do you rank yourself? I'm telling you, these basics, guys, you really get good at it. Here's the problem. People got issues, and they're emotional issues. Okay. All right. I'm going to do my best to help you get more profitable in a concise and clear manner. I'm going to try to lay it out there to you. I got a game plan to lay it out there to you. Here's the way people think about stuff. Okay, those basics are what I'm talking about, but I have to start from left field to get you on the basics.
Right.
You tracking with me? I got to go from way out here to nail you on the basics. Here it goes. Here's the way it goes. This is the way you and I think. You could say, no, I'm not emotional, and I'll be like, don't get emotional. Okay? Here's the way people think. You know it's true. Work with me here. People say, that damn Trump, that son of a gun, if he'd quit tweeting, that's the only problem. And then what they do is they work on that as opposed to their job, as opposed to their business. They get all emotional about this gentleman with an interesting hairdo. And they get emotional about that crap. And they say things like, I'm not going to work hard and make the economy great because then I'll make that idiot look great because he'll take credit for the economy doing good. Like, what? Okay, now watch this group. These are friends of mine. That Obama, that son of a gun will just raise taxes. I'm not going to work. I'm just going to sit at home and draw money like other people do. I'm not going to drive it up. I'm not going to double my company, triple my company, because I'm going to pay more taxes with Obama. I'm like, oh, okay. And then, depending on who gets elected, in 2020, I'm gonna do this. And they have this reaction based on what Obama's doing. It kind of don't make any sense. But you can't help it. You get emotional. Now, some people say I'm not into politics. And I go, oh God. I read text too much. Let me just tell you, that's an emotional problem I have. Stephen Davies just asked me if I was going to read the Good Intentions leaderboard. The Good Intentions leaderboard, what you meant to do. Damn it, Davies. we was riding down the road the other day in a big old luxury van, and everybody said, we're going to run a contest. And everybody said, what do you want to base it on? And Davey said, intentions. Let's base it on intentions. Who's got the best intentions wins. And I was like, yeah, that jerk is crazy. Okay. All right. I want to tell you, I got a text from a buddy. I asked him, I said, here's what I need. Tell me about people that have issues. And he gave me some. He said, this guy has an issue with this. Okay, let's think, what's an issue? He says, how can I get your imagination going to your issue? You don't understand how my mother treated me when I was little. Is that an issue? You don't understand my husband. If you were married to James Hill, you would understand.
That's right. That's my man.
Jane Hill's up front. If you understood what it's like to be married to a redneck. A redneck. You have any idea what that's like?
Amen.
Can you imagine? What? Oh, can you imagine what it would be like if your daddy was a lazy, drinking, skinny man? I'd be like, is that different than a lazy, fat man who drinks? They go, hell yeah, it's different. He hugs you, he's bony. There ain't no cushion for the pushing. But like, calm down. But is everybody in me, or am I missing this out on something? No. I know people that are freaking out right now because Hillary might be back in charge. What's that old man? Biden? No. What's the one that says he touches little people? Touches young people? Bernie. They said if Bernie gets back in charge, y'all know what I'm talking about? Huh? Huh?
Joe Biden.
No. I think Bernie's the one that touches little kids.
No. Joe Biden
Biden's the one that touches kids?
Yeah.
What does Bernie do? Oh, he's dead. He's going to die. He's the one that's dead. He's already dead. He's is he alive?
Yeah, he's alive.
Is that a rumor? Somebody tell me how old he is. I don't know. Here's my point. This issues. People have issues with this one and issues with that one, right? Okay?
Yeah.
The same thing with their mamas and daddies in their life, okay? They got issues. I got people got issues with final expense. They final expense don't pay as much on the front end as mortgage protection. And I'm like, that's a fact. And then they say, well, what do you got to say about it? I go, let me tell you about Hillary. Because see, here's what they say, because you can use the logic. See, here's what my engineers, I got an engineer over there. Let's get it on the engineer right there. Let's get him in there right there. There he is right there. There he is. He's, there's my plus sign right there. There he is right over there. Wave at us, Kyle. Give it to us, Kyle. There's the engineer. He says, well, explain to them about the renewals and about how on the back end it's more and it's better. And how about if they didn't have nothing and they got something? See, you with me? That's the way you try to talk to people. You with me? You try to say, come here, dum-dum. Get your God-blessed calculator. Give us my dadgum calculator. Get your calculator out and let me show you how this works. Okay? Okay. That's what they do. And it's the same thing with the ark. It's the same thing with the cost of leads. It's the same thing with the public out there. It's the same thing with the traffic in California. It's the same thing with the poor people in South Carolina. It's the same thing with trailer parks. People have issues. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Any sense whatsoever, okay? All right, let me tell you an issue. I got one guy, he said, my people don't have issues. The problem is me. Mm. He said, I'm just not leading and I'm not setting the example. I said, okay, I got you. I said, what about your people with issues? He said, their issue is me. Until I do good, they ain't never going to do good. Ain't no point in me addressing their issues. Let me explain something to y'all. That's an issue. If we had to wait until we had a preacher that wasn't taking money out of the coffers, wasn't siphoning a little out for personal expenses, until we got a preacher that ain't having sex with the organist, until we got a preacher that ain't never cussed, until we got a preacher that ain't never looked at a woman, until we got a preacher, you know them monks that drink a little wine, they ain't big on women, but they drink a little wine. Until we got a monk that don't like wine or women, until we got this religion, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Until we find a perfect person, we wouldn't have no preaching.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Right.
So for my buddy that thinks he's got to be perfect, until you become perfect or I become perfect, we can't help nobody else. Let me explain something to y'all. Let me be clear with y'all. I'm just a beggar teaching other beggars where the bread is. Y'all understand you understand what I'm saying? I'm just a beggar teaching everybody where to go beg for bread. I'm not the genius. I'm not the guy that turns water into wine or fish into bread or toast into butter. You with me? I'm just the guy telling you where to get the stuff. Does that make sense? I'm just telling you where to get the stuff. And here's the stuff. So my boy who don't even know he's got an issue because he thinks he's got to wait until he gets perfect, that's an issue. I need for him to start helping other people understand and comprehend and work his butt off to get them out of the gutter. Okay, all right. Let me tell y'all something. I want to be clear with you. Our family reunion is coming up, and we are going to have answers to issues. We're going to have answers to selling. We're going to teach the 4 basics, baby, like you ain't never seen it before. We got it coming. I got Jeff Bright helping me on the psychology of the whole situation. I got Tim Gold working with me on the spirituality of the whole situation. And I have Janina Wilson coming to this event. Let me tell you a little bit about Janina. She is from Germany, a degree in hospitality management. She's brand new, okay, brand new to the Alliance. Came to the U.S. in 2012. Was making $30,000 a year. Was looking for freedom and a better schedule. Went to work with a company that just had a terrible culture. Came to work with us in February of 2016. That ain't right. Earned a trip that year during a crazy personal situation. Earned Paris. Here's what I want to say. Earned Paris in 7 months.
Nice.
And hung out with us in Paris. I got to chit-chat with her a little bit with Olga and Jason Mathis. She is a single mother with a 5-year-old child. She is writing $20,000 to $25,000 per month. So she's been with us 7 months last year and then 5 months this year and writing $20,000 to $25,000. Recruiting like crazy. Fort Lauderdale, crazy positive. Buying her first home this year with Alliance money. She will be here in Family Reunion, and she's going to be talking to y'all and teaching you how you can be brand new and create those kind of results. Nice. We've got Paul and Rachel Van Thoff. Paul was a college lacrosse coach making $24,000 a year. To be clear, the whole year. Answered an ad to become an administrative assistant for that guy right there, James Hill. He said, I will be your admin person on the side. His schedule was too jacked up with his lacrosse. James said, no, but I will show you a flexible way that you can make at least $9 or $10 an hour minimum. And he bit hook, line, and sinker. Started making more on Sundays than he was making as his full-time job. I love the Christians. He's working on Sunday. Okay, Saturday. Does that help you? Well, that's a lie. No, I made a mistake on the first time. People get emotional. My boy was emotional when he started making more in one day than he was making in a whole month. His wife, Rachel's extremely supportive. She makes a heck of a lot more money on her job than he did. A lot more. She would like to make more than she's making, and where she can get up and travel and have more vacation and help more people. They qualified in Paris their first, the last year, the first year they had a chance to win something, they win something. He did it part-time, he won it. He's got a team hiring. Paul and Rachel are going to be here at Family Reunion and chat with you how they did it so quick and so fast and how they're building a business. Billy and Ada Crane totally impressed me. I got to know them in Paris. He was with the company for 4 months and won an all-expense paid trip to Paris. It was very emotional for him. He was very upset that he hadn't been to Paris, so he worked really hard for 4 months. They've already won the trip to Alaska in the first 5 months of the year. Looks like they're getting really close to agency manager in less than a year. Their upline is Stephen Davies and some other great folks. I'm sorry, I don't know the hierarchy, but Davies is the one who sent me the information. He says they worked the whole time in Paris. They networked, they hung out, they talked to the right people, they asked questions, they learned. Super couple. You'll meet them at Family Reunion. Brant Swindell sent me this. This is a recent people that joined us. Case and Carissa Hanna. Apparently, he's been the #1 personal trainer at LA Fitness for 4 years in a row. He makes a small amount per hour that he thinks is a lot amount per hour, I guess you would say. In other words, he does pretty good in that world. He's waking up at 3 a.m., drives an hour to keep his job, do all his fitness training. He's already made in a weekend more than he makes full-time on his job, but he's still full-time because he's wanting to be smart and not mess up. Follows the 8 steps. Competitor. Carissa is supporting him, trying to take things off of his plate so that he can keep focus on this so that he can get free. First 90 days in the business, he's written over 40,000. He's recruiting and building like crazy, so Case and Carissa will be here. This one right here, I met briefly the other day, and I told her up on, I said, this one is sharp, okay? I'm trying to remember where, I think I met her at the ACT, Alliance Certification Training. She's completed that. Her 5th week, so she got right in ACT. Her 5th week in the company, she submitted $16,000. That was last week. She's got 3 licensed agents that are rocking, several people that are in class, and we really got extremely high hopes of this person who's only been involved in five weeks. And her name is Erica Durr, D-E-R-R. Those are, and by the way, leaders, I'm looking for stats, statistics, and emotions of brand new people that we can highlight and make sure that people have access to this. Because we've got a lot of brand new people that are fired up. We need these new people to find each other. We need the winners to do like batteries and get together. Okay, those people are going to be at our family reunion. I highly recommend that you get with them. Okay, so you could argue with me that Obama's good, Hillary's good, Biden's good. I don't know who's on what side. I'm pretty sure Bernie's on his own side, right? Okay, and then you got Trump and the Reagans. I'm telling you, there's people who love this side and hate this side. I am telling you, I have got people that have never done a dadgum thing until we brought in the ark, and their incomes went like through the roof, Jessica. It is nuts. And they attribute it to the ark. I have people who have stopped writing because of the ark. It's bizarre. It's like, what, did Obama get in? What, you don't like Trump? No, I don't like the ark. What are you? Emotional creature? Does that make sense? And they justify with facts. Here's the way people work. They go off on emotion, they justify with facts. Or they go off on emotion and then justify with facts. Do you understand? You can't help that. Stephanie, Toby and Stephanie. Stephanie, the question is, what do you do about it? You with me? You know you're emotional. Now what do you do about it? Okay? There she is, right back there in the back. There she is, behind the engineer. Okay. All right. All right. Here's the way it goes down. Remember I said simple, concise, clear explanation to improve your profitability. And then I told you the basics, right? The 4 basics of in the house. I didn't do the basics of the phone script. I didn't do the basics of cold contacting. I didn't do the basics of building a network. I did the basics in the house, but those 3 basics matter too. And then I went right over here to motion, because people make emotional decisions and then they back it up with the most brilliant engineering statistical facts in the world. Since Obama's been in charge, the gas prices have dropped, the energy has went up, the nuclear energy, the power, the black people making more money, white people making more money, Chinese people got it made now that Biden's in. Like, what? Statistically speaking, there's not a Chinese person out of work. I'm like, what are you... Do you understand this? It's an emotional decision backed up by logic, whether you decided to kick ass or whether you decided to sit your ass down. It's an emotional freaking decision. Hello? Okay, all right, here we go. What's more important than knowledge? Wisdom. We must seek wisdom. We must seek wisdom over rubies, over gold, over money. We're having a family reunion that we're going to be giving out wisdom in buckets.
There you go.
The successful people will be handing out buckets. I'm not kidding you. Why would I trick you about that? If you fail, my business fails. You understand that? There's no way in the world I would do everything to hurt you or harm you or make you feel little or sad or depressed or dumb or stupid or broke. If you do better, I do better. Hello. People that say it sounds like business. Really? Well, how about in a marriage? If my wife does better, I do better. If my kids do better, I do better. It sounds like relationships. Do you understand how emotional this is, what I'm telling you? Okay, let me help you a little bit, okay? I can't answer all the questions, but I'm going to get you in the ballpark. Love is the most powerful of these. Where's a Christian somewhere that knows the Bible? Of all of these things, love is the most powerful. Raise your hand. Who knows this? No Christians in the room. Great. We're all going to hell because there she is. Wouldn't you know it? A Tar Heel knows these words. A Carolina liberal. Come back here and tell us, Anna. How's it? Yes, Anna. Wouldn't you know a liberal knows these things, baby? The conservatives in the room, all the Bible-thumping Christians have no idea. This is one of my Tar Heel graduates right here. She's badass too. Anna,
Hey.
tell them.
What?
The love thing.
Faith, hope, and love are all really important, but the greatest of these is love.
And where'd you get that from?
1 Corinthians 13.
1 Corinthians 13. So that comes right out of the Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth book, otherwise known as the B-I-B-L-E. That is the book for me, B-I-B-L-E. The heathens call that thing the Bible. Okay, right?
Right.
Okay. About where is Corinthians in that book? Is it high, low? Is it deep down in it, middle ways?
It's probably like 85%.
85% down through it. Tell them what you did this year. Tell them about that awesome job you had.
I worked worked as the women's resident director at Emmaus Bible College in Dubuque, Iowa. So I was in charge of all of the female RAs in the dorms.
You like helping people, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Anna's a recruiter here. She's working back here through the summer. She says she's going back up there in the fall, but we're trying to talk her out of it because we think this is a more important mission. But we love you either. But we love you either way because we just want you to be successful.
Thank you.
We just want you to be successful, buddy.
Thank you.
You are. Thank you very much. Good job. Say it again. Love, faith,
Hope, faith, and love.
hope, faith, and love. But the greatest of these is love. Okay? So I am telling you that psychologists worldwide, preachers worldwide, there's nobody that debates this fact that love is the most powerful. Does that make sense? Okay. The most blinding, where you can't see the truth, you can't see the facts, fear. When you're scared, you can't see nothing. Let me give you an example. You're running through the house and you're scared and you stump your toe. You with me? When you're scared, you can't see anything. You run into everything. Nobody can explain anything to you. Is love more powerful than pain? If you love something, will you work through pain? Yeah, I already told you. Emotion. Pain's an emotion. You'll work through pain if you got love. Okay? All right. Okay. Most powerful emotions: love, fear, insecurity. This one's going to mess you up. Familiarity. I have a saying: familiarity breeds contempt. You get used to Andy Riddle, so you don't treat Andy Riddle with respect. You get used to Stephen Davies, so you don't treat him with respect because you know him. You can say anything you want to him. You're familiar with him. Familiarity is powerful. Insecurity, low self-image, fear, scared, what might happen, false evidence appearing real. Love, these are powerful. Listen to this. This is going to mess you up. These emotions are what keep us chained to a life that we don't want to live. These emotions can set us free. These emotions can take us into a life that we want to live. Sarcasm is destructive, and the most destructive is sarcasm. It hurts relationships. It uses humor, which is a good quality, to make somebody else feel small. I had a guy who was brilliantly funny. I've got a bunch of people brilliantly funny. I had one who I explained this rule to him, and he immediately changed. And every time it's funny, he builds people up, makes people laugh. I got another guy, he won't stop it. He is a needler. He will use humor to put somebody down in a skinny minute. And he can't figure out why people don't want him around as much. They like him, they love him. You with me? They love, but it kills the respect aspect of his relationships. So they don't respect. Does that make sense? So they avoid. Teasing is the same thing as sarcasm, not so good. Okay. Anger and violence and threats, we all get that's bad. Sarcasm and teasing and funny makes that cancer appear benign when in fact it's deadly. The funniness makes it appear benign, but it makes it... I'm trying to help you here. Trying to help me too. God, he has no idea. He has no idea. He has no idea. So why don't you tell him? Criticism don't help people. They got to figure it out for themselves. You got to love people to give them power. When they have power, they can change. How could we draw that out? You got to love people to give them power. When people have power, they can change. But they got to decide to change. The problem is they got to change. They got to hang around books, come to family reunion, and listen to audios. Peer pressure will change it. But they choose where they stand. That's why people go into isolation. I'm going to stay away from everybody because I'm depressed. That's a great idea. I'm going to stay everybody because I'm upset. I'm going to stay away from everybody because my mama, my daddy, you're the reason I'm going into isolation. Okay, I hear you. What psychological book did you get that out of that was a brilliant thing to do? I thought of that myself. Yeah, yourself got yourself in the position you're in. Okay, y'all tracking with me on these basics? I'm telling y'all, this is simple. It's how I survive. I said it Wednesday by saying I get back on the horse. I get back on the bike. I get back on the wagon. I get back on. Does that make sense? I'm the best feller you know, unless you know somebody who's failed better than me. Does that make sense? Unless you know somebody who's failed more often and failed at more things than me, then I'm the best failer you know. I know it sounds contrary because it's emotional to say someone's failing, but the ability to get back up and try. All right. If we were all rational, okay? Kyle thinks he's rational. Clay thinks he's rational. I know Clay. Raise your hand, lead performance team. He thinks he's rational. Do you think you're rational? I think I'm rational, Clay. Do you think you are? Adrian. Raise your hand, Adrian. She thinks she's rational. Her boyfriend's coming back at 10:30 tomorrow. She's excited. That's a rational thinking right there. That's rational thinking. You with me? That's what people... Okay, if we were rational beings, if we were a rational being, we would always seek to avoid pain and we'd seek pleasure. That's what we would do. We would never do anything that hurts ourselves if we were rational. But because we're emotional, we do stupid stuff like lay out in the sun without sun protection and get burned. We were fired up and we was drinking, which caused an emotion which got our butt burnt. That's right. If we was rational, we would have said, we better spray this on before we start drinking. Rational. Prior planning prevents poor performance. We would quit shooting ourselves in the foot. We would keep shooting our friends in the foot. We would quit shooting our downline in the foot. We'd quit shooting our upline in the foot. We would build and nurture relationships. We would eat right.
Hey now.
We would drink water. We wouldn't use much sugar. Hey, I'm getting depressed over here. We would do the right things that create pleasure for us. We would never hurt ourselves if we were rational. We're freaking emotional people. You tracking with me? I thought you was going to talk about the basics and how I can recruit better. Okay, remember, when I get to doing perfect, then I'll start telling you how to do perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm going to tell you this is the best way to get down to the basics. If you could get non-emotional about getting referrals and just do it, it'd be rational. Right. I'm trying to get you to be rational occasionally. Occasionally, if I can get you rational for the 4 basics. Jane, it's bothering me I can't see you on the screen. How you doing up there? Is this making sense? It's intentional. She intentionally avoided my screen. Very rational.
It was.
Chris Long says, love creates peace. Peace creates clarity. Clarity creates right actions. Right actions create results. That's good, Chris. I love the ark. Since the ark, this is the kind of stuff I get. I love the ark. Since the ark, I love the ark. Since the ark, I've had over 10,000. I have had over 10,000 in my bank, with Stephen Davies said to invest most of it in the team and new people. Glow is amazing as well. I'm scratching out a living, Bo. Thank you for Stephen and Andy for this opportunity. See what I'm saying? I guarantee you I can find somebody that says the exact opposite as Jeremico. It's a freaking emotional decision. What part do you not understand? What part do I don't get about how emotional I am? Going contrary to your emotions is a trick of a lifetime. Okay, listen to this one. I dare you, talk to anybody with a PhD, anybody. Hey, will you press that button over there, that light, turn that on? If you, see, that's emotion for me. I paid, that's $20,000 worth of cabinetry over there. I want that stuff lit up. You see what I'm saying? I want that stuff lit up. I didn't want it in the dark. Look at that. I ain't. Oh, there's Jessica. Hey, Jessica. Hey, that's my new social media person, so if y'all think I'm doing something dumb, it's her. If you think it's great, I'm still doing my own. She's it regardless. She always does it. That's my excuse. Okay. All right. You understand what I'm telling you? That's an emotional decision. There is no debate among Methodists, Baptists, Jehovah's, Mormons. There's no debate about this subject that emotions run everything. There's no debate. That's why there's no controversy about it. You don't have one guy saying emotions rule everything and a guy said, no, we're all irrational. We're all rational beings. There's no debate, so you don't get to pick a side. If there was a debate, it would be more popular and people would know what I'm talking about. But because everybody agrees, they don't talk about it so much. That's a spinning 360 thought right there. Because all preachers agree that we're emotional beings, there's no debate. So now they don't fight about it, so now you don't see the difference. See, there are some people that believe that the pipeline for the oil needs to be open and run through the country and save oil. There's other people who think we need to shut it down because it's going to ruin it for the third generation, or our kids ain't going to have it, and they need solar power. So you know about oil, and you know about solar power, and you know about these things because people argue about it. But there's no arguing amongst liberals, Democrats, conservatives, Africans, Indians, South Americans. There's no Hispanic discussion about this. Does that make sense? That there's no controversy. All the top psychological and spiritual leaders know this, so there's no argue about it. Okay? And let me tell you another thing they never argue about. Love is the most powerful. Fear and anger is the one that's the worst. Meaning you can't operate in fear and anger like you can operate in love. In other words, people produce more in positive emotions. That's just the way they are. You don't have a church out there that's trying to make everybody mad, saying that people mad grow more. It's love and positive emotion. There's no argument that positive emotions grow. Negative emotions shrink. So why would a person ever have shrinking negative emotions and shoot themselves that makes things shrink and get littler and smaller and less power if they were irrational? It's because they're emotional. Now, this one's crazy to me. Wait a minute. I can't tell you the crazy stuff yet. I got a couple more things before I tell you the crazy. Incredible acts of courage happen because of love, fear, passion, and desire. Jeff Bright would tell you that fear actually can be positive. He calls it a healthy fear. I'm like, okay. All right. The wish to be loved and appreciated can cause incredible accomplishments. Adam Katz, one of my best friends, he says this: I'm just in the alliance because I want to be respected by those I respect. He only works 20 hours a day. He only flies around the country. He only does stuff for his family. He only does stuff for his wife to be respected by those he respects. That's an emotional decision that leads to logical decisions of investment and travel. Oh, that's what I want to tell you. Here's what people say. Here's what they think. I got no control over my emotions. If we're emotional, I have no control. Okay, listen to this statement and see how curious this sounds. She made me mad. He made me mad. He made me angry. He made me depressed. He made me feel lonely. Do you understand the curiousness of that statement? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I just want to tell me, how can I make you do something? Jane, how can I make you feel something you don't want to feel? Come here, Jane. I love Jane. All right, Jane, stand up. Jane, stand up. Stand up. Okay, so here's a curious thing. If you said, he made me angry, he makes me not want to sell. Do you see the curiousness of that?
Have you been listening to us?
No, but I don't ever listen to y'all. The curious statement. Come over here. Come closer, James. James right here. The curious statement. She made me mad. She made me angry. If I made you hate me, then what can I do in the next 3 minutes if I want to? If I have the power to make you angry, what can I also make you do?
Make me unangry.
I can make you unangry. I can make you love me. So if I can make you mad in 5 minutes, then I can make you love me in 2 minutes.
But that's not what happens because we're irrational people.
English. What did you say? Okay, what did you say? Say it.
But it doesn't work like that because we are irrational. We're emotional. So many freaking emotions.
So many emotions. So if I say to her, speak English, when she's clearly speaking English at a rapid rate with an accent, she has a choice to laugh. She has a choice to get mad. You say, but.
Put my hand on my hip.
Put your hand on your hip. That's a good one. The hand on the hip. I love that one. She made me depressed. She made me, my daddy. You see, let me explain something to you. How can they make you feel an emotion that you don't want to feel? So if you wanted to get mad, it'd sure be easy to get you mad. If you wanted to love me, it'd be easy to get you to love me. Does that make any sense? It don't make any sense, but you understand, I'm telling you, this is the way it goes down in the world. This is how you get referrals. This is how you get the green sheet filled out. And people have a hard time. It's 10,000 miles between getting the green sheet filled out and how freaking emotional they are. And I go, it ain't 10,000 miles between that. Do you know how far it is between those two decisions? They think it's 10,000 miles. You think it's a minute? How far do you think it is?
A second, yeah.
6 inches. 6 inches between getting a green sheet and all the craziness I'm telling you. Here's the 6 inches between that ear and that ear. For some of you, it's about 7.5 inches. Some of you, it might be less than 6 inches. You understand what I'm telling you? This is how far it is, that connection between getting that green sheet. Emotions are a part of your heart. They're a part of your mind. And they're who you are. You own your emotions. Own up to it. It's your heart. It's your mind. It's who you are. Well, what if I want to change who I am? Now you're asking rational decisions which will lead to your pleasure. Wouldn't it be great if people would just hear this, Jane, and they'd be like, snap to, oh, I got it now, Andy.
Like us.
Like y'all too. If everybody was only like Jane and James, yeah.
Right.
That's
great.
That's what I tell Amber, my secretary. I said, if everybody was perfect like me and you, the world would go a lot better.
Right.
Your husband Matt and then your little girl and the little boy and all, everybody be happy. But no, we're the only perfect ones on earth. All right?
That's right.
Me and my wife have had the same decision. We've had discussion. If everybody was perfect like me and Jane Albright, I know Clay thinks that. If every department in here was as good as the lead performance team, we'd have a hell of an organization around here. Okay. Do you understand? It's like you own your emotions, brother. Your love, your hate, your depression, your anger, your attraction, your rejections. Those are emotional decisions, and when you decide to own them. That's why in Jack Canfield's book, The Success Principles, the first conversation that he has is about taking responsibility for everything. It's the same thing that Zig Ziglar teaches. It's the same thing that Jim Rohn taught before he died. He is dead. I know that one's dead. But his Twitter looks like he's alive. He just tweets, you know. Okay, so Jim Rohn said it. Your number one job is to take responsibility.
Yeah.
Okay? That is your number one job. It's you, it's your heart, it's your mind. Now, here's what I get. Tell me, Andy, tell me in the next 7 minutes how to solve this. I can promise you without 100%, with 100%, no shadow of a doubt, I know where you can find how to change and fix this solution. It's Family Reunion. AllianceFamilyReunion.com. We're going to address this at every turn, at every angle. We're going to talk about this at lunch, breakfast. We're going to fix this. And this, in turn, will give you the power to make the changes that you need to make it to appear to some people that you're more rational.
Yep.
That's what people think. They think I'm more rational than they are. Only because of the numbers. Because I got a vet, because I got a Ferrari, because Paul Roberts has got a new Corvette, because Diane Lampy's got a door of a lifetime to go into her mansion house, because she's got a Mercedes-Benz, they think she's more rational. She's not more rational. She does more things that appear to be more rational. Mike and Noel Leventovich they're engineers, and they've got all their life together, and they have a perfect marriage, and it just makes me want to cry. They're just perfect, and that's why they're doing so good, and you love them, and you've never said anything wrong to them. You've never addressed them incorrectly. You've taught them the secrets. Oh, how about this one? You give them the best leads. That's one of my favorite ones of all time. What do? Sort through the leads and pick the best ones and give it to them? Is that Janina's strategy? Is that how Billy and Ada made it big? Is that what you did with Paul Van Thoff? Oh. That's what emotions. We're going to sort out your emotions. We'll layer them for you, line them up, stack them. You can pick what emotion you want to use after you go out of Family Reunion. If at the end of Family Reunion, and you come up to me and go, y'all didn't talk nothing about how to control emotions. First of all, I'll explain it one more time. And then if you don't give it, I can give you money back. You need to go to Alliance Family Reunion and figure out where you get a hotel. This is a rational decision. You're going to need a place to stay. We're going to sell out of rooms in Burlington. The best places are going to go first. If the Roach motels are going to sell out too. You need to move quickly. If you need a roommate, you need a babysitter, you need a plane ticket. All these things are rational decisions that hopefully I have emotionally made you think about thinking.
Yep.
I got another one for you. Okay, you ready? Thought and emotion are inseparable. So whatever you think and then emotions that come are inseparable. This is a ahead of the time tip. Okay? If you could start to do this, if you could start, instead of saying, I'm so mad, I'm angry, I hate you, if you could say, I'm a bit peeved. I'm a bit peeved. That thought will instantly change your emotion. I've been doing something for years now that has worked for me. It works like this. I stump my toe and I go, dadgummit. I'll be needing to think about something because that minor pain is an issue with me and I need to move on. Yep. And I promise you, it dissipates, pain dissipates faster than it used to when I used to go, oh, I stubbed my toe, it feels like it's broke. The pain would persist longer. Listen to me, this is huge. The pain would persist longer. Tia, it took me longer to get back on the horse. It took me longer to get back on the bike. It took me longer to get back to making phone calls. It took me longer to get back to making referrals. It took me longer to quit trying again. But when I started changing my thought, I'm a bit peeved. Jane, you tend to make me have a harder time with my life. It's normal, as opposed to you drive. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to say it, but it's the thought that you say.
But it's easier for you to control it.
Because I'm smarter than you. Why would you think it's easier to me? Because I'm a man? Because I'm from North Carolina? Because I eat...
else.
because I eat steaks, because I'm married to Jane, because I was
All of those
born
reasons.
with a puppy dog licking me in the mouth. So now I don't get germ. Now I'm not affected by disease. You know what? That's what they teach us. Let the dogs lick them in the mouth. That way they won't be sickly when they get older. That's what they tell. Who's heard that before? Raise your hand.
Heard it.
That's right. The puppy dog licks them in the mouth. They won't get sick when they get older. Yeah. Is that why you think it's easier for me because a puppy dog licked me? My mama smoked when I was little. Is that why you think I'm smarter? It sounds funny. My mama smoked, but I remember she smoking. I've never seen my mama's real teeth. Do you think that's why I'm smarter than you? All I've ever heard is dentures. That's all I've ever seen. Let me tell you something. You want to deal with mean parents? You let them get some blackberry seeds in between them plastic of their gums, and in between the gums and dentures and their gums, that blackberry seed. You can't tell them nothing. You can't go fishing, nothing. They're there just picking. Like, take the whole thing out and wash them and put them back in. What were you going to say? You think everybody is better at it than you?
No, well, everyone thinks everything's easier for everyone else.
Everyone thinks everything's easier than everything. What is it, a psychological statement that
you
no
said
preachers
it.
are? It's true. It's true. It is true. People walk up to people and they go, what's this guy right here? What's this kid's name? Mark. Come over here, Mark. Mark, this might help you a little bit, Mark. Here's the way it works, okay? Stand over here beside these guys. This is the psychology of the world. You look at him and you go like, look at this dude. Clean shaven, short marine haircut, married to this beautiful lady. He has no problems, okay? They look at you and they go, look at that cool hairdo. He ain't worried about shaving, didn't get frustrated. This morning I was pissed because his damn spray feels like your dad gum putting a seashell up against your mouth and just frustrated. He's looking at you like this, going, cool dude, he's young, he's got the world by the tail, has no world. You married? You married?
Yes, sir.
Well, he might go, all right. So, no. He don't do that. He don't do that. Here's what he says. I bet his wife's cooperative. I bet his wife didn't get 3 degrees in 4 years and thinks she's smart. You see what I'm saying? That she did. She did that. So he's looking at you, looking at your wedding ring, thinking, he bet your wife is just cooperative and brilliant and cooks great biscuits, man, brown on top, slates them with butter, gravy. That's the way people think, right? You know this. I know this. When I'm talking, here's what happens though. I used to think that about John Maxwell. And then I hung around him. I paid like thousands and thousands of dollars. I hang around him. Eventually I said, this jerk's about as crazy as I am. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. I don't know if my self-image went up or I brought his. I love John. I love John. Okay? But the more I was around him, I said, jerk is crazy. He's a daggum runned over dog. He is nutty as squirrel poop. I mean, he's just... You with me? But here's the problem. It's hard to get around rich people and figure this out. That's because you have to give up blood, you have to give up sweat, you have to give up tears, you have to give up money. You say, but since you've told me, I don't need to come to family reunion. That is a dumb, emotional, does that make sense? You've got to make positive emotional decisions. Is this making any sense? Would you have a comment, Mark? Agreed. You feel that. Have you ever heard this before? That when you walk up to people, you just think they've got it better put together than you?
Oh, for sure.
You've heard that before? Where were you taught that at? It's very unusual that people have heard this at your age.
I think I learned that for myself.
You think you learned that? Do you still feel that problem? You look at me and go, look at him sitting there. He ain't scared of nothing. Do you still feel that I know more than you? I've got it more together than you? I just taught this lesson. That's proof that I got it more together than you, right? That's called backing up your emotion with logic. You see what I'm saying? You had an emotion that I was smarter and had it all more together. So then you back it up with I just taught the lesson and call it proof.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's bizarre. There will be more of this, and it will be better, and it will be permanent. You with me? At our family reunion. If you have people with issues, you can't wait until you fix your issues. You've got to reteach this to them. You've got to reteach this to them. And then you got to get them to family reunion. This is concise, this is clear, and this is simple. This is within 60 minutes, everything you need to make $100 million a year.
There you go.
I hope this is helpful. Leave the audio going as I'm talking to some people and I wrap this up. I'm saying hello to people. Andy Albright, please remember that you are live when it is still live and that you don't say something crazy so that somebody gets an emotional and then backs it up with logical decisions to beat you. Okay? Y'all with me? All right. Y'all can say bye-bye. See y'all. Y'all got to leave. Thank you. 60 minutes. Done. How about that? Woohoo! How about that one? How about that one? Now y'all can proceed to send the text that say that was a good one if you liked it. Or if it was stupid, tell me that. That was stupid. Why'd you